Hello everyone, today we have new video review, and as you can see this time we are going to check fresh release from Miniart. It is molded in 1/35 scale, nevertheless that's not a tank kit, that's an aircraft kit. It's quite unusual for this brand, and as you can see Newcomer is included in a What If series, and it actually copies Focke-Wulf Triebflugel. You can see that it's interceptor version. In 1/35 scale, once again I will remind about this, and you can see this aircraft here on the box art. So it is quite obvious that there was no such kit in 1/35 scale. As far as I remember, there were several kits in 1/48 and also 1/32, but nothing in 1/35. So that's why this release will be interesting. And also Miniart, with their traditional attention to small details, might make this model even more engaging. Here on the box art you can see also a short list of the features. So obviously we have PE parts included, and there are also 6 decals options out of the box. And also what is interesting, there is no interior kit marking, but I hope that at least cockpit will be detailed. Box size is typical for this manufacturer. Here you can see comparison with my hand, and box art is quite attractive in my opinion. Here we have some information about the kit, safety advices written in 3 languages. Here we have again safety advices and barcode, and also address of the manufacturer. Then from the other side we can see all 6 marking options. As you can see, this is a what if kit, so nobody limits you only to those markings. You can try to build something different, and I can even suggest that there will be obviously some captured version in the next boxing, who knows. But now we are checking this one, which features only German markings inside. So let's open it. And in the meantime, let me remind you that we are shooting on the borrowed camera. Our camera broke, and you can support us in order to buy the new camera, so it is quite easy. Just go to our website, press the donate button, and choose the amount you would like to send us via PayPal. And all this money will be gathered and used to buy a new camera for the video reviews, because as you can see now the quality is not that great in comparison with what it was before. So here you can see that all sprues are packed into the same plastic bag. Just give me a second to open it, because I have to tear through the seal. It's a not a resealable plastic bag, obviously. It's a typical, I would say, feature of Miniart kits. Nevertheless, now we are going to remove them all. Here we have, by the way, the decals sheet, but we will check it a bit later. Also clear sprues packed into the separate plastic bag. And then also we have the small envelope with PE parts, which will be also checked a bit later. Now I will try to remove these plastic sprues. So just give me a moment to do this. Okay, so we are good to go. Let's start with this plastic sprue. I'll zoom in so that you can see what we have here closer. So first of all, those huge parts will be used for the fuselage, as far as I can guess. So as you can see, we have 2 halves, and I'm not sure which section it will be. Maybe the tail section, who knows. But here we have quite nice external detailing. Let's zoom in even more so that you can see it in detail. Now camera will focus, and you should be able to see that we have recessed panel lines in riveting, and also access hatches carefully replicated in plastic. Then here you can see some other parts, and also inside, I hope, nope, we don't have any guiding elements, so you have to be careful. We only have this raised edge here, which should help you to get at least something to let's say, to align parts together, but otherwise I don't see any additional features, so be ready for this. Don't be surprised when you will see this. Next, let's zoom out back, and now we have 3 plastic sprues which are absolutely identical, so I will show you only one, because here we have parts for one of the wings. So as you remember, this aircraft has 3 wings, not 2 wings as a typical aircraft. And as you can see, again, we have quite nice external detailing. as far as I can guess, those elements will be inserted inside those engine gondolas, and I can even zoom in a bit more so that you can see the external detailing. It looks really nice. We have riveting and recessed panel lines, and here you can see another side, and here are the minor elements. Molding quality looks good as well, and let's flip it over. Here we have, as far as I can see, we have the guiding pins for these engine gondolas, and then we have raised edges here, so I hope it will be a leading edge, but still it will be serving as a guiding element during assembly, so you will be able to combine these two halves, two large halves together without any extra problems. By the way, here you can see comparison with my hand. Those are quite big parts, I'm not joking, and you should be ready for this scale. So it's just a tad smaller than a 1/32 scale aircraft. Here we have again two absolutely identical plastic sprues, so I will put one aside and we will check only one out of those. So let's zoom in, and now you should be able to see it. So here we have various parts for internal detailing as far as I can understand. And for example, this is a machine gun, this is also another machine gun with barrel. And also here we have the pilot seat part. Let's zoom in even more so that you can see it with your own eyes. So machine gun barrel looks fine, but I think you have to drill it because, as you can see, it's a solid part, so there is no hole inside the barrel. The same can be said about another barrel as well, so be ready for this. And here you can see the pilot seat parts. At least I suppose that those are pilot seat parts, but we'll learn more once we check the assembly manual, which is on the bottom of the box. Okay. Next we have this plastic sprue. Again, my guess is that here we have the cockpit parts, because those are obviously look like nose or top section cockpit parts. We also have here some parts for the landing gear and also landing gear doors. And from the other side I can see that there is nothing interesting, but still we are going to zoom in once again so that you can see that, well, the main feature of Miniart kits is also here. These are quite thin attachment points which should be easy to separate. And plastic seems to be quite tough, so I hope it won't be breaking, especially in thin parts case. And here, by the way, you can see these two parts from the other side. They will have to be combined, of course. So this pin will serve as a guiding element, and I can guess that there will be a separate wheel which will be inserted between those parts. Okay, next we have again a pair of identical plastic frames. I will zoom out a bit. So here, as you can see, again we have various elements for external detailing. So just give me a second. It should be placed, I think, like this, because of the letter on the sprue naming. And here you will have to combine these two halves together. The main landing gear wheel should be glued out of two halves as well, but those minor wheels, I see that they're molded as one-piece parts, so at least them will be used straight away. And overall everything seems to be fine. Those parts will have to be combined one with each other. And let's zoom in a bit. I am not sure what those ones will be used for. As far as I remember, they were placed on the tail surfaces, but we will see in assembly manual once again. Here you can see that landing gear wheel looks good, but if you have some spare resin wheels which you can install here, I would rather suggest to do so, because it's a what if kit, so you can use some additional imagination, let's say, in order to achieve even more convincing result. And here you can see those tail wing halves. Again, we have recessed panel lines and riveting, so it should look quite nice. By the way, those are rudder pedals, quite small ones, and again you can replace them with some PE set if you have some leftovers from PE set for the aircraft in 1/32 scale, so you can use those parts with this aircraft kit. Then the nose section is molded as one-piece part. That's a really cool feature because you won't have to deal with seams in such visible area. Then inside we have the guiding elements, so it will be easier to align these parts, this part actually together with the fuselage. So it's really cool, and as you can see, only 2 attachment points. As far as you can see, they're placed on the edge, so you just carefully cut them off, sand them off, and you will be good to go. And next we have pair of plastic sprues. This one is dedicated to the tail section of this aircraft. So as you can see, they are molded together with tail surfaces. Again, we have quite nice external detailing, so this includes the recessed panel lines and riveting. Here you can see the dashboard. I guess that will be the pilot backseat. And also here we have various minor additions for the cockpit. But I would suggest to zoom in a bit in order to see what we actually have on this fuselage half. So as I said, recessed panel lines, riveting, everything is here. And let's flip them over, because here inside you can see we have quite developed structure, but we also have some guiding. Actually, these are not pins but tabs, which will help you with alignment. Here you can see also another half, the same style of the part design on this second half. Okay, so plastic sprues are almost over. Why almost? Because we also have this clear sprue, and this one will be a bit tricky to open because, as you can see, it is also sealed. So just give me a second. I forgot the scissors and I will have to actually tear through it. Okay, so here we have clear parts. Traditionally for Miniart we have nice molding quality. So as you can see, they look good out of the box. Masks are not included, so you have to search for some aftermarket, and I really wonder if any aftermarket manufacturer will actually go for the mask set. I can guess that Edward will release something for this kit, so if you are ready to wait a bit, you will get the nice mask set, but otherwise you will have to cut them with your own hands. Next we have this small envelope. This one is traditionally used for PE thread. So here we have really tiny PE thread, and that's really cool still, because here we have the seat belts for the cockpit, so cockpit will be nicely detailed with this. And as for the dashboard, I think you have the question what will happen with the dashboard. We have decals included, so just give me a second. Here we have separate plastic bag with decals, and again, because I forgot scissors, I'll try to tear through it. Just give me a second. Okay, we are good to go. So here we have decals. There is no mention where it was printed, but I can guess that traditionally for Miniart it comes from Decals. Just give me a second to open it a bit more. Now we should be good to go. So here you can see whole decals sheet. Let's zoom out a bit so that you can see it in the full scale, let's say. Here you can see the dashboard decals for the cockpit. As you can see, it's right on cockpit. We also have the swastika included, so you will be able to replicate it, but you will have to combine the symbols, obviously. Then we have the shark mouth, the bee, and various signs. Everything is here, but no stencils. So if you would like to get even more convincing appearance, I would recommend to search for some 1/32 scale stencils and place them on this aircraft kit. Next we have assembly manual. This one is printed in form of color printed brochure. We have a short features list on the cover. Next we go with marking guide straight away. As you can see, we have here 2 marking options. This one, the red one, is interesting because it's a pre-production model in one of the training fighter aviation schools, Germany, 1945. Here we have the parts map, and also we have the colors chart and several manufacturers' designations. Next we go on with assembly process. So obviously everything starts with cockpit floor, then we continue with pilot seat and the back armor. Here we continue with sidewalls and also machine gun. And next step is installation of the dashboard. Here we install the machine gun on the cockpit base. That's quite surprising already. Here we continue with these panels which will be placed on both sides of the cockpit. Then we continue with more of the machine guns on both sides of the cockpit. Then we install all this stuff into these two houses, you remember? So these were actually the nose section, not the tail sections as I guessed before. We continue with, this is a target side as far as I can guess. Next we have the nose area glued into the place, and here we install the rear cover. Then we go on with clear parts, and because it's a 3-piece assembly you might even play with opening the cockpit, maybe even searching for some figurine to place inside. Here we continue with this section, and I'm not sure where it will be placed. Nevertheless, here you can see two wing halves joined together and this replication of the engine inserted inside. Here we continue with this big wheel. As you remember, it was assembled out of two halves. Those are tail wings with the landing gear system, so you will be able to choose either with deployed wheels or with closed ones, and it will be up to you which one you will use. So as you can see, they are inserted into these special slots. As you remember, they were inside the tail wings. Then we continue with joining two tail areas of the fuselage together. Here you can see the main landing gear installed into the tail area, so you can assemble it either deployed or in a closed position. So obviously all other wheels will be closed as well, so keep it in mind. Here we join the access hatches on the nose area, and then all these sandwich parts joined together. So quite an interesting assembly process. Here we have the final step, it's installation of the wings, and in total there are 22 steps. Here you can see some other marking options for this aircraft. Green hertz, by the way. And here we have more. This one comes from aircraft carrier. This one is from the Storer Geschwader 1. So obviously it mimics the BF-110 with its famous B marking option. So overall we have another quite cool what if kit from Miniart. In my opinion, it will be interesting for those modelers who are already tired from typical BF-109s and Focke-Wulf 190. And in 135 scale it should be quite a big model, but still it will be an interesting project in my opinion. And of course I will be happy to hear your opinion about this kit. Write it here in the comment section below. If you like this video, don't forget to press the like button, subscribe to our YouTube channel so that you won't miss any new video review, and you can also help us grow even bigger and more. And I will see you in the next video review as usual. Bye.